Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. And this is our final week of our month focusing on the idea of renewal. And of course, there's a lot of spring focused qualities to that. For example, this idea of just renewal itself. You know, the turning of the year, the turning of the earth, longer days. Speaking of longer days, one of the invitations this month was to turn towards the sun. And of course, by that, there's the literal interpretation, but also what is your sun, S-U-N, in your life that warms and nourishes and, gives you what you need in whatever way. And how do we invite in more of that in our lives? And then we also looked a little bit at this idea of blooming, of course, very much associated with spring, and the fact that blooming is often supported very skillfully when we couple it with this idea of letting things go. So like the metaphor of the falling away of the leaves so that the new blooms can emerge. And so for this last week, the word that came to mind for me was the idea or the term freshness. Now, it's really interesting because we do, of course, use that word a lot in English. We talk about like fresh flowers, fresh produce, all of that. But, and I really probably should have like found it somewhere, but this Thich Nhat Hahn, who recently passed away this year, the Zen Buddhist monk from Vietnam, he would often invoke a quality of freshness. And so the way that I want to sort of qualify that or explain that is this idea of allowing yourself to just invite in freshness for yourself. And freshness is, to me, clean, clear water. It's about feeling rested. It's about honestly, like feeling clean, that sort of, not squeaky clean per se, but just this idea of when you just feel good because, you're showered and, you're hydrated and all of that sort of stuff. That's that kind of freshness. And of course, the freshness of, these blooms emerging and the freshness of, the fragrance that we might experience associated with that and fresh air and all of those sorts of things. So it's another one of those abstract ones, but what I would love to invite you to do is really just allow yourself to invite in more freshness in your life, and just think about what that might look like for you. Maybe it's some sort of, a new pair of shoes, or I like that's where I go. But a refresh of your home, a spring cleaning. You get the idea. So let's go ahead and do our meditation now. As we are reflecting on this idea of freshness, I'm going to invite you to bring a quality of freshness to your practice. So as we settle in, you know all of the phrases that I use and all the things that I say. So with that, perhaps everything that you hear during this practice, even though I may have used certain words and phrases before, allow yourself to perceive them with a quality of freshness, fresh eyes, fresh ears, as though perhaps you heard it for the first time, and just see if that changes your experience at all. So let's go ahead and get started. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze, and let's take those lovely breaths. There's even that quality of freshness with each inhale, new oxygenated air, and then exhaling out the used carbon dioxide-dated air. Each breath, even though we breathe thousands of times every day, each breath is new. yourself to settle in. Resting your awareness on whatever works for you, whatever feels easy. Or if you want to continue with this idea of freshness, trying something that maybe isn't your usual. One that I don't talk about very often, but could be a fun opportunity for today, is something that's just called open awareness. And that's where you don't necessarily rest your attention on one particular anchor, like the breath and sounds and body, but you're just sitting with all of the sense doors open and just noticing from moment to moment what your experience is. It's often called just sitting. So if that's appealing to you, that could be a fun way to bring some freshness into your practice today. So let's sit together in silence for a while, and I'll check back in a bit. As you continue to allow your attention to rest in the present moment, whether you're finding yourself letting your attention rest on a particular anchor, or if you're continuing to play with this open awareness, Just allowing that quality of freshness to permeate your experience in whatever way that makes sense to you. Noticing where the mind is, and if it's wandered, just bring it back. No big deal. Once again, allowing ourselves just to return to that present moment awareness. And let's practice for just a little bit longer in silence until you hear the bell. There you have it. Full disclosure, I did actually forget to set the timer at the beginning. If you were to rewind through this, you'd see the part where I was like, oh. But then I did put the timer on so I could get a sense of time, and then I added it up in my head and I just made the call. So we'll find out, I suppose. Either way, because now I'm all messed up, I want to make sure that my camera doesn't shut off prematurely because there is a limit. So I just want to thank you for taking that time for yourself and for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And happy spring, happy freshness, happy blooming and renewal. And I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.